Do you think Big Meech like told on somebody to get out, snitched, did anything extra?
No. Let me tell you why. Big Meech's paperwork is public records. There is no proof that Big Meech said, hey, bust him, bust him, bust him.
Taryn Gangster Williams, who actually did time right next to Big Meech, is stepping in and shutting all this down. He's calling out 50 Cent's entire story and not holding back at all. Gangster says all that snitch talk about Meech is pure nonsense, and on top of that, he's spilling the real tea, how Meech had the whole prison on lock, running things like a straight-up boss. The inmates showed Meech nothing but love and respect.
So, Big Meech, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that man got to that compound, and man, he had some of the guys I would never think that would get BMF, ENT on the left side of their neck, man.
No questions asked. And that flips the whole script, because now people are side-eyeing everything 50's been saying about Meech being a rat. So what's the real truth here? Was Meech really working with the feds? Or is 50 just throwing shade because Meech linked up with Rick Ross and left him looking goofy? And what exactly did Gangster reveal about how Meech moved behind those walls? Well, an old interview just resurfaced, and it breaks it all down. New Orleans street legend Terrence Gangsta Williams recently broke down what life was like.
Big Meech, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that man got to that compound, and man, he had some of the guys I would never think that would get BMF, ENT on the left side of their neck, man. It was tattooed, and he made it clear. He said, listen, I'm not giving nobody no connect. I'm not hooking nobody up with nothing. I'm not doing nothing when y'all go home. So in other words, you know, people try to get with him just for, you know, the games, you know, for Meech, let it be known, look, I ain't got nothing.
One where new with Big Meech behind bars, and the way he tells it, Meech wasn't just another inmate. He was the guy. According to Gangsta, Meech had so much pull that every man on the block followed his lead like he was the mayor of the prison. The wildest part? Meech didn't even have to force it. That influence came naturally. Gangsta even claimed Meech was so well-connected he could basically get the keys to any yard he touched, like the entire prison system was his own backyard. But here's where it gets crazier. Meech once had the chance to break out and return to that millionaire lifestyle before the feds locked.
They was there when it was changing.
Exactly.
And they caught it. Okay, we're gonna catch, we're gonna do this party, we're gonna have the tigers and the lions and you know what I'm saying, elephants and stuff, all that, you know, like we never seen that type of stuff. Like you can say what you wanna say, you know what I'm saying, about, but that type of stuff you only seen in movies, and you didn't even see that in movies.
Kept him down for good. Still, he chose to stay put and do his time like a man. We'll dive into that escape story in a minute, but first, let's shut down this snitch talk once and for all. Everybody knows 50's been pushing the idea that Meech cooperated with the feds. Gangsta isn't buying it. In fact, he clapped back hard, saying there's no truth to it, and even calling out industry folks like 50 Cent as straight-up hypocrites. According to him, too many people pick and choose who gets labeled a snitch based on
Tammy Cohen is a government informant. So they tell me, he says, you know what that's about? And I said, no. He said, well, you threatened a government informant, and that's a federal offense.
A lighter bid, but if Meech never knew about it or wasn't involved in what Tammy was doing behind the scenes then. This whole thing is more like a sneaky legal loophole, not full-blown snitching. Now 50C, he's out here acting like it's facts that—
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Collins, known in the paperwork as CS1.
Right.
Confidential source 1. So what Big Meech did was call a third-party cooperation.
Meech knew exactly what Tammy was up to, claiming Meech was feeding her the info she gave to the feds, but then you got people like Terrence Gangsta Williams who actually know Meech saying they don't believe for 1 second that Meech ever worked with the law. So now it's your turn to sound off. What do you think? Why is 50 so pressed about pushing this whole Meech as a snitch angle? And if this paperwork has been floating around for years, why didn't 50 have a problem crashing in on Meech's story when he made the BMF series? But the second Meech links up with Rick Ross now, It's a whole issue. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next drop. Trust me, the drama is far from over. See you on the next one. If you really want to understand how all this snitch talk even got started, you've got to go all the way back to the rise and collapse of BMF, the legendary empire that had the whole country talking. That same empire is what landed Big Meech in the courtroom, facing down a 30-year sentence. But here's the twist. Meech could have skipped all that time. There was a real moment where he had the chance to dip out of the country and disappear like a ghost, leaving all those charges behind. Instead of running, though, Meech stood tall, faced everything head-on, and that decision earned him major respect in the streets. At the same time, that move planted the seeds for the drama we're seeing today, including all these snitching accusations that 50 Cent keeps running with. Let's take it back to the start. The Black Mafia family wasn't just some random crew. This was a full-blown criminal empire launched back in 1985 in southwest Detroit by two brothers, Demetrius Big Meech Flenory and Terry Southwest T. Flenory. These two didn't just have ambition, they had something even more dangerous, a direct pipeline to top-shelf Mexican cocaine. With that connection, BMF leveled up fast and became one of the biggest players in the entire game. They weren't moving weight like everyone else either. Their operation ran through a family-owned car service, making it all look like a legit business. By the early 2000s, BMF had everything on lock: the streets, the clubs, even the music scene. They built a flashy entertainment company right on top of their drug empire, using it as a front to launder money and flex their influence. At their peak, BMF had over 500 members calling shots coast to coast. Meech himself became a legend in and out of the streets, surviving shootings, shutting down clubs 100 deep, pulling up in fleets of Maybachs, and throwing wild parties that became hip-hop folklore. His influence stretched so far that rappers, celebrities, and industry giants all wanted to be around him. But success brought cracks. Meech and Southwest T's brotherhood eventually broke down into a power struggle. The empire split. Meech controlled Atlanta while T stayed in LA, linked to the supply. That division made BMF vulnerable. While Meech lived like royalty, the feds were watching. For 15 years, they tracked everything: wiretaps, informants, financial records. By 2005, the takedown came hard. Meech and T both got hit with drug trafficking and racketeering charges, along with 150 other affiliates. The feds even targeted their family, parents, sisters, girlfriends, because their names were tied to property and businesses BMF used to wash money. That's when the pressure got real. The DEA put a deal on the table. If Meech and T took full responsibility, the rest of the family could walk free. And that's exactly what they did. Both brothers pled guilty, and each got slapped with a 30-year federal sentence under the Continuing Criminal Enterprise statute. Fast forward. In 2020, Southwest T got out early due to COVID, but Meech wasn't as lucky. He stayed locked down until October 2024, when he finally walked out after 20 years, straight into a halfway house. But during those years inside, BMF didn't fade. They became cultural legends. Their name lived on through music, fashion, and the streets. In 2010, Mara Shalhoub dropped the book BMF, The Rise and Fall of Big Meech and the Black Mafia Family. Rick Ross dropped BMF, Blowin' Money Fast, the same year, and suddenly Meech's story became pop culture gold. By 2020, 50 Cent took it further, teaming up with stars to launch the BMF TV series. Meech's son, Lil Meech, even played his father. The show blew up instantly, followed by an 8-hour documentary and talk of multiple spin-offs. The legend was bigger than ever. Then October 2024 happened. Meech came home and linked up with Rick Ross. A single photo of them together hit the internet, and all hell broke loose. That picture reignited the beef with 50 Cent, who immediately accused Meech of being a snitch and even claimed the BMF show was done. 50 went further, saying he had real paperwork proving Meech worked with the feds. The problem? That so-called paperwork had already been floating around for years, and nowhere in it does it directly say Meech was a federal informant. Here's where it gets messy. Even if someone like Tammy Cowens really did cut a deal with the feds that reduced Meech's sentence, that doesn't automatically make Meech a snitch, especially if he never signed off on it or even knew it was happening. That's more of a sneaky legal loophole than actual cooperation. Still, 50's acting like it's all facts, claiming Meech personally fed info to Tammy, who passed it on to the feds. Meanwhile, people like Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, who actually knew Meech, say they don't believe for 1 second that Meech ever worked with law enforcement. So now the question is, what's the real story? Why is 50 so pressed on pushing this Meech is a snitch angle? And if that paperwork has been around for years, why didn't 50 have a problem cashing in on Meech's name when he made the BMF series? Why is it suddenly an issue now that Meech is standing next to Rick Ross? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because trust me, this drama is far from over. Do you want me to shorten this into a tight YouTube narration script, punchier sentences, more suspense, or keep it long-form documentary style?